What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 2 of the 24-Hour Hustle Show. And today, we got special guest, Carlton Falconer. So welcome, y'all. Welcome to the 24-Hour Hustle Show. Once again, my name is Anthony Freeze. I am the host, and today we got special guest Carlton. Today we're going to talk about him doing his blog. He does a Christian blog online. He's working on getting into motivational speaking. So without further ado, I'm going to have him introduce himself, give his background, his name, and we'll get into the show. So welcome, man.
Oh, thanks, Say. Thanks again for having me. Honored, humbled to be on the show.
Awesome.
Born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Been here my entire life. Background is in marketing. Went to La Roche College and got a Bachelor of Science in Marketing and Management. For the last 8 years, I've been an admissions advisor. The first 7 years with the Art Institute. The last year.
Hold on. You went to the Art Institute?
No. I've been an advisor there.
Oh, and an advisor. I was going to say, we all went to the Art Institute. I went to the Art Institute. Robert went to the Art Institute. Like,
I probably should have. Honestly, yeah. But yeah, the first 7 years of my admissions career, I was an advisor at the Art Institute.
Okay.
Now I'm currently working with Argosy University. Within the midst of that, I started a Christian blog, as you mentioned, wanting to take and expand that, very, very far and get a good message out there.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing, how you were raised, any siblings and things like that, and what it was like for yourself, like growing up.
Growing up, anybody from Pittsburgh, I grew up in Northview Heights, which is a project-based community. So I grew up with my mom, my dad, and I grew up with my two sisters. And it was pretty cool because I was a big brother. So I always had to be a leader and someone to be looked up to. So that's kind of carried over into the man I am now, and that helped me become the man I am now. Being a big brother, being somebody that my sisters kind of look up to and look to for advice. My dad, hard worker, grinder, someone that really hustled and made it happen for our family. And
So what did he do?
He bounced around from different jobs. At one point, he did have he was a chef at a restaurant. He also had his own restaurant as well, working as a chef.
Okay.
So he's kind of been, different jobs here, there, but always found a way to make it happen for, our family. And those are the values that he instilled in me. So growing up in a project-based community, grew up in the projects, it was tough because honestly, I was in a negative environment. And a lot of times people use where you come from as an excuse. I looked at it as a reason to make it. I didn't want to look at, I grew up in the projects. I grew up in this rough neighborhood. I'm just going to be like everybody else. I'm just going to, graduate from high school or drop out from high school, go get a job or go in the wrong direction. I looked at it as I need to get out of here. And my dad really put that in me, and he really told me day in and day out, there's more than life than this neighborhood. There's more than life than Pittsburgh. You need to go out and explore it. And that really stuck with me. So again, that's what led me to go to La Roche College, go live on campus, go see a new scenery, but also meet new people, learn. So again, my dad instilled a lot in me. My mom too, my favorite person in the world, always believed in me. She told me practice makes perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I remember coming home one day from trying out for basketball, and I had a rough practice. I was messing up the drills. It was rough, and I just told my mom, like, man, I ain't going back. I'm like, basketball career is over. I need to just stick to playing in the neighborhood. But she said, practice makes perfect. You got to keep practicing. She said, Michael Jordan didn't get it on the first time. Magic Johnson didn't get it on the first time. You got to stick with it. And that's kind of something that stuck with me, too, even with my career now and even with my blogs. It's just sticking with it and getting better over time just by repetition and keep doing, continuing to do something. So had a good upbringing, bad neighborhood, but good parents and good friends, a good support system, and good encouragement, and God helped, bring me to where I am today. So.
Absolutely. So what did your mom do?
Well, my mom, she worked in the hospital setting a lot.
Okay.
She did a lot of nursing work. More recently, she worked as a bus monitor.
Okay.
But she did a lot of hospital, a lot of nursing work. When I was growing up, working and taking care of patients, things of that nature. So another thing she probably taught me was patience.
Patience is definitely important too.
Yeah, definitely. Just again working with people, and again probably even instilled within me too is wanting to help people, and that's something that my mom had a passion for. She one of the reasons she went into that field was the opportunity to be able to help people that needed assistance, and so that's something that when I look at my mom, always helpful, always welcoming, things of that nature. So awesome. My mom's awesome.
That's great. That's definitely great. It sounds like that you had a great upbringing through your parents for sure. One of the things that sticks out to me is that your dad had his own restaurant business, you said.
Yeah.
Which definitely is something that you can learn a lot from. What are some things that you learned from that experience that he had out of owning his own restaurant?
Well, one of the things that we always talked about was business and working for yourself, which kind of led me to becoming a blogger and wanting to take my brand Carlton Speaks to a different level, and to kind of make that my own brand and to work for myself. He always mentioned there's nothing like being your own boss and working for yourself. So I've learned good things from that, kind of taking the initiative and what it takes to start a business. But one of the things that I also learned is seeing like some of the pitfalls that he had with the business and why it didn't last as long as he wanted it to. So that's something that I can take away, like some of the good, some of the grind, and some of the things that goes into running a successful business, but also too knowing that you have to maintain some of the behind the scenes things as well to maintain a business. I feel it's easy to start a business, but maintaining it is the challenge. So so with my brand and what I look to do with my business is to not just have it out there for a year, but I want this to be something that's around for 20, 30, 40 years. So there's some different things that I took from that experience that he had. So.
That's awesome. So when you're building your brand Carlton Speaks, you also work part-time as well, correct?
Yes.
So what do you do part-time right now?
Well, right now I'm an admissions advisor
Okay.
at Arkansas University, so that's what I do outside of Carlton Speaks. I work as an advisor, so just kind of helping students with the admissions process, so helping them apply for financial aid, helping them find the right program, kind of working with them throughout their coursework at the university. So awesome experience. Again, it kind of goes back to my passion, which is helping people. So any way that I can help people, I'm all about it. So in that type of setting, that's my main focus. Is every day that I come into work is I can actually help somebody today, whether it's taking them from a situation that they don't like and putting them in a better position, or giving them the hope and the confidence to start school. A lot of times people kind of are nervous or have a doubt or fear, like, I can't go back to school. I'm 40 years old.
Right.
I can't go back to school. But in all honesty, it's just having that conversation and giving that reassurance, like, it doesn't matter if you're 20 or you're 40, you can still go to school. And that's just kind of me.
Right.
Helping people reach their full potential. And I don't think age is a factor. I don't think gender, race, anything in that nature. You can be what you want to be. And it's just all about making that decision and believing that in your heart. So.
That's awesome. So the reason why I asked is because a lot of people that, want to pursue their dreams or pursue their passion is, they also do work a part-time job or a full-time job, and they found that they try to, find the time to be able to pursue their goals or their dreams in their spare time, but they always find it a little bit challenging.
Right.
One of the things that I want to try to help people overcome is to be able to find the time, to be able to pursue their goals and their dreams. And I think you've definitely been able to, find the time for yourself and building Carlton Speaks and writing your blog and things like that. So can you tell us a little bit more of, what do you do outside of working when you are building Carlton Speaks to try to build up that brand? So you got the blogs. What are some other things that you are working on as well?
So outside of the blogs, I post different daily, inspirational messages, different, inspirational videos. So it's just, more than blogging. So outside of that, I have Women Empowerment Wednesday. So that's another focus.
Yeah, I like
mine.
that. I ain't gonna lie, I look forward to that. To check that out.
Yeah. So that's something that kind of came about. Just wanting to empower women, just trying to find different ways to empower and to inspire people to reach their full potential. So I have the Women Empowerment Wednesdays. I've developed more recently a 7-day plan.
Okay, what's that about?
So it was about living a fearless life. So pretty much it was kind of similar to a devotional. So every day I provided an affirmation. So, I can do all things, through Christ who strengthens me. That's your affirmation. And then there's a Bible verse that's attached to it. So every day it's like, all right, I have an affirmation that I can rehearse and I can say over and over throughout the day. And then I have a Bible scripture or verse that I can, refer to.
Right.
So that's something that I put out there as well. I've done some challenges as well. So like a 7-day challenge to where it's like an affirmation for day 1, 2, 3, 4, and then continuing on. So doing that. I'm also taking classes at Grand Canyon University for life coaching.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be probably one of the bigger things that I'm going to do as far as Carlton Speaks goes, outside of, blogging, inspirational messages, devotional plans, but also to getting into life coaching, also motivational speaking as well. I have an event coming up next month.
Okay.
So where I was invited, by a colleague to come speak to, high school students. So I'm actually looking forward to that.
Okay. Where's this at? What high school?
It's actually going to be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be children from different high schools.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still figuring out more details on the event, but I know it's going to be October 19th.
October 19th. Okay.
So I'm going to have an opportunity to speak to, a group of young individuals, and I think that's a good group of people to speak to. Because they're making that transition from high school to college. And that's probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest transitions that a person can make is going from high school to, okay, I graduated high school. What's next? Am I going to go to a 4-year college? Am I going to go to a 2-year college, trade school, cosmetology school? So just kind of sharing my story. And I think that's one of the main things that I like to do is to share my story, share my unique experiences, because that story can inspire or show someone else something to the extent of, wow, like I didn't know like this person went through that much, because most of the people who kind of are positive or share positive experiences do that because they've been through some negative experiences. So that's kind of what I'm doing, speaking, life coaching, more writing, more blogs, daily messages, and just any way that, I can impact the world or get the message out there.
Right. So let's rewind a little bit back. So what even inspired you to become, a Christian blogger and to want to become a motivational speaker and things like that? There's got to be, and it seems like, based off of your story so far, having 2 younger siblings and being kind of the leader and being in that leadership role and being the example, that also has influenced you as well. But what are some things that inspired you to start the Carlton Speaks brand, start writing the blogs, getting your website up? Because it wasn't that long ago when you just officially started it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
a little over a year ago, I started it last year on my birthday. So I made it
on your birthday.
Yeah, so
that's commitment right there.
Yeah, so I made it a special day.
That's what's up. I like the sound of that. You did it on your birthday because a lot of people on their birthday will maybe want to go celebrate and have drinks and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I like that you did that.
Yeah, so I put some pressure on myself, and it gave me something to look forward to. Not just, obviously every year of life is a blessing from God.
Absolutely.
It's also cool to each year as I get older. It's like, all right, 2-year anniversary, 3-year anniversary for my blogs. So that's it's pretty unique in itself. It started out. I would post motivational messages on my Facebook and Instagram here and there, and it kind of like I'm a man of faith. So that's where it all started. I wanted to get positivity out there. So I kind of took a step back. I had a knee injury in the January of 2016.
How did that happen?
Playing basketball, LA Fitness.
Okay.
Went up for a layup, hit the ground, tried to get up, realize, hoping anyone isn't too have a weak stomach, but but I tore my patella tendon and I went to straighten my leg.
You tore it.
I tore it. I went to straighten my leg,
Uh-huh.
and it didn't straighten out. And I knew in my mind, and I'm like, okay, this probably isn't good. But long story short, I had surgery, and after surgery, you know, it's like, hey, 6 months, or not 6 months, but 6 weeks of bed rest, you know. So for 6 weeks, I'm literally not doing anything.
Right.
So I'm thinking about, okay, well, what can I do to get my message, not necessarily my message, but how can I get God's word out there? How can I get the message out there to more people? And for me, I enjoy writing. So I'm like, you know what? Someone gave me an idea, said, hey, you know what? You should write a blog. And at first I'm like, maybe. But as I was going through my graduate program at the time, I really found that, like, I like research, I like writing. So I'm like, well, maybe I could do blogs because I enjoy writing. That's my passion.
Right.
I'm a man of faith. I love the word of God. I love God. So my thing was, why don't I put these two together? So I came up with some different topics that I wanted to write about, things along those lines. And, you know, I prayed about it. I said, God, I'm going to do this. And I announced it probably, I think, sometime like a month before I launched it. Hey, I'm going to, you know, have a Christian blog and a Christian website. And a lot of people were giving me good feedback. Like, hey, I'm proud of you. This sounds awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and people were excited. And I kind of went into it a little nervous. I didn't know how it was going to go, you know, because I'm like, I'm a fan of my own writing, but I'm like, how are other people going to take my writing? And especially with, you know, Christianity, it's one of those things where, you know, am I going to come off as too Christian or too this or too that? So I took a chance and I believed in God and I prayed about it. And I said, God, I'm doing this for you. I want to get your word out there to as many people as possible because I know that there are people out there that can benefit from this message, which is ultimately your message. So I put it out there, got good feedback from it. A lot of people like, wow, this is great work. You know, I admire what you're doing. And again, I had a lot of fun with it, just writing and taking different topics. And it challenged me to go to the Bible and to find different scriptures, and also challenged me to, because I'm introverted. And it was different for me to put myself out there. I like to keep to myself. I like, you know, to be low key in the background. But with my blogs, I really place an emphasis on really putting myself out there. Like, hey, I went through this or I went through that, just to show people that just because you go through a negative scenario doesn't mean you can't come out of it. Or a lot of people may look at me as a Christian blogger and say, well, he's writing about God and Christianity and faith because he's in a good space. In all actuality, I'm writing these things even when I'm going through my own storm.
Right.
And a lot of times that inspires people like, wow, I didn't know you had a knee injury or lost your grandmother or, you know, experienced unemployment or, you know, dealt with a breakup, whatever the case may be. A lot of people don't see that because they look at my messages and it's all positivity.
Right.
But the man behind that went through some things that prompted me or probed me to write about these different things. So it's just all about sharing that message with people and knowing that people benefit from it. And that's something that inspires me to continue to do what I do. So.
Absolutely. I think that relates with a lot of people when you're able to share those different storms that you go through and sharing those different stories, because a lot of people, you know what I mean, don't know those stories or what's going on behind the scenes. But when they do find out, and it may be similar to what maybe they may be going through, they connect with it a lot more. They're able to relate with it a lot more. And then figure out how you went through that and how you were able to overcome those different challenges and adversities, and it gives them hope as well.
Right.
And that's the main thing. It's funny. The way I actually discovered you was through Facebook. You know, I added you one day. I seen a lot of the encouraging things you were posting up. And because I like to post a lot of encouraging things on a daily basis and things like that to, you know, inspire people, to give them hope and things like that. And I saw a lot of the work that you put out there, and I was like, man, I like what he's doing. And not only that, you were consistent about it.
Right.
I love consistency. So, I had followed for a while, for maybe like a month or two, and then 3 months. I'm like, man, this guy is still at it every day.
Absolutely.
And and a lot of the things that you shared impact me as well. So, from on your side, being an introvert and things like that. I'm a fan of your work. I've read some of your blogs and things like that, and that was one of the reasons that made me want to reach out to you, because I seen you had some things going on. I was like, man, a lot more people need to know about what this guy's doing. And then I reached out to you, and then thankfully that you accepted to be on the show and sit down with me, and we grabbed a cup of coffee and things like that. So it was a great experience to even get to know you even more. So
absolutely, likewise, man.
So I definitely wanted to say that your work has definitely been impactful, and I think it's definitely going to impact some people some more. So some things that you want to do even going on. So you got the blog. How do you come up with the process of writing your blogs? Because there could be somebody watching right now that also wants to write blogs and have their own website and things like that. So where do you get your ideas from? How do you write them? How did you get your website started? What are some tangible things that people could pull away if somebody wants to start their own blog?
Right. So the first thing that I would encourage anybody is to pray about it.
Okay. Absolutely.
Pray over any move that you make. You want God's hands on anything that you do, and that's the first thing that I did. Is I went to Him and said, "Hey God, I have this idea. I want to blog. I want to do this for you. I want to get this message out there." And I prayed about it, which I think has kind of helped it prosper and go the way that it has. Coming up with my different topics, I think I just kind of see maybe what people are going through. As you mentioned, a lot of people that I've talked to who gave me feedback on my blogs have mentioned, like, man, that was right on time. It's like,
yeah, those are the best ones. That's a good feeling when somebody says that.
Oh man, it's like, man, your blog microwave results was perfect because I'm so anxious to get what I'm praying for, but your blog told me I need to be patient. So again, it's just kind of trying to relate to my audience and kind of seeing different things that I see, or even different things that speak to my heart, or just talking with people in general and knowing people, maybe I want quick results, or man, this process is difficult, or like, man, is God really enough to help me overcome whatever I'm dealing with? So it's just about writing something that pertains to different things that different people are going through, or different things that I see, or even things that I've gone through, and I'm like, man, I think if I share my story or my opinion or my take on a specific topic, I think somebody else could benefit from this too. So it's just kind of thinking about different things that I've gone through, different things that I feel people can benefit from, and it's just writing, you know what I mean? And it's, again, one of the things you just mentioned was finding time to do it. I'm a person and a believer in making time.
Absolutely.
Because finding time, you're looking for time. And when you're looking for time in the midst of, I work, maybe I'm a single parent, or maybe, I got this going on and I got that going on. It's hard to find time. But if you are serious about a goal, whether it's writing a blog, going to school, anything of that nature, you have to make it a priority. You have to make time for
Absolutely.
it. It can't be finding time. It's like, all right, well, I need to take 2 hours to write a blog, or I need to take an hour to maybe jot down some notes on what I want to talk about next, or what I want my blog to be about. I'm a man of faith, so I wanted my blog to be Christian based, because I feel that I can't inspire or motivate anyone without mentioning God or Jesus Christ or anything of that nature. Some people I've met are, fashion bloggers, or women empowerment bloggers, or a clothing blogger. So figure out what you want to write about, or what your passion is. My passion is Christ. Someone else, and I think everyone has a passion for Christ, but they may say, hey, well, I'm really good at fashion, or human resources, whatever the case may be. Take that, find some different topics. What do you think people can benefit from, and write about it and make it a priority. Don't find time like, I'm gonna try to do some work on Saturday. Make sure on Saturday I'm getting up at 10 o'clock. I'm getting my orange juice. I'm getting my coffee, my donuts, right? Yeah, and at 11 o'clock, it's game time, right? You know,
exactly.
From 11 to 1, I'm at the house. I'm turning my phone off, and I'm making time to write my blog, or I'm making time to outline the topics that I want to write about. One of the things I did that too over the summer. I made a priority that I need to get a site up. So initially, I was going to reach out and have someone do it, things of that nature. But someone told me, was like, hey, you can go through Wix or WordPress, different ways that I can.
So which did you use?
I use Wix, so I did it all on my own.
Okay.
So it was more of an accomplishment, and it felt better that I designed my own site.
Right.
Pretty much.
And it looks good.
I appreciate it. Yeah, one of my colleagues was like, wow, did you go to Art Institute for Web Design? Back to talking about going to the Art Institute, right?
We're putting Art Institute nice little promo for them.
Yeah, go to the Art Institute. But,
or maybe not.
Right. But no, I designed it from scratch through Wix. I found the template and kind of made it my own, and it turned out good. And,
right.
I made some tweaks along the way, and probably down the road I'll probably advance it and kind of add some things to it. But I built it myself, so it kind of felt good. Like Carlton Speaks was a brand that I built on my own, from my own websites to my material to the messages to everything was unique to me. And there's a lot of bloggers that are out there, whether they're Christian bloggers, fashion, anything along those lines. I had to figure out a way to make myself stand out or differentiate myself. So again, I think the best way to make yourself different or make yourself stand out or differentiate yourself is to share your own story.
That's
story.
Key. That's key.
Your story. You're the only person in the world that has your story.
Right.
Same thing with me. I'm the only person that went through a knee surgery and went through unemployment and lost a grandparent, and my story is unique to me. And how God got me through that, I wanted to share that because there's no other blogger that can blog about my story.
Right.
So again, my encouragement is make it a priority, share your story, and again, as you mentioned, be consistent. If you do those three things, you make it a priority, you're consistent about it, and you're sharing your story, and again, first and foremost, praying about it, praying over what you're looking to do, I think that's a great foundation, to lay out for yourself.
Absolutely. And also, in addition to being consistent, there's a great quote that I heard from Denzel Washington. He said, the two things that can get you to your goals and your dreams is discipline and consistency. I highly recommend people try to find that video. It's impactful. He's actually talking to some high school students, and I think they're at a theater or something like that. And when he said that message, it was just super impactful. So I think those two things, if you're disciplined and consistent about writing a blog and things like that, that'll definitely help kick it off.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the things that I actually was able to take away from the things that you've done writing your blog is actually inspired me to write my own blogs on my own website.
I read them. They're good, man.
I appreciate it. So one of the things that I've actually found, and I don't know if you do this at all, but one of the tricks that I've found to be able to write blogs faster is I actually don't write them at all. I do speech text.
I've heard of that.
And I talk them out. And then I'll have a nice amount of paragraphs, and then I'll just edit it. I'll chop it up a little bit, maybe smooth it out a little bit, and I can bust out a blog in 20 to 30 minutes. So if anybody is looking for ideas or want to maybe save time on trying to save a blog, I highly recommend using speech text.
I've heard of that. It's pretty dope.
Oh yeah, and you could do it right off of your phone.
Right.
You know what I mean, and it just makes it super simple. You can do it in Microsoft Word or Docs on your phone, and just literally just start recording. Think of a topic that you want to have, and just talk it out. Edit it afterwards, and smooth it out, and then you got your blog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just post that up consistently. So how do you go about how many times a month do you try to put out a blog?
I'm taking graduate classes right now, so my goal is typically, initially I started out kind of at once a week, you know what I mean? I thought, that would be good to do with, work and things of that nature. I feel 2 to 3 a month for me is kind of my goal.
It's manageable.
I think it's manageable, and I've been able to stick to it, which kind of gives me some comfort. Like, okay, I can get 2 or 3, blogs out there, and also gives people time to read them.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely.
Everyone has busy schedules, so it gives them an opportunity to be able to, read a specific blog. So I try to get 2 to 3 out there, and again, it's been a manageable goal, and I've been able to, kind of stick with that consistently.
Yeah, and I try to do the same thing as well. At least, at least 3 a month, once a week, and with a week break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think for that, even for most people that want to write a blog, if they can at least stick to that, I mean, because you don't have to write one every day, but 3 in a month is doable. It's a realistic goal that people can do. So you're not putting a lot of pressure on yourself. It doesn't take a lot of time. You still can have a life, but but still have the consistency to at least have something out on a weekly basis and things like that for people to be able to read your material. So I think 3 is definitely a great goal.
Oh, absolutely.
So some other things that you're trying to do. One of the things I did want to ask is with your writing and things like that, have you ever thought about maybe even writing a book one day?
Yeah, I've actually started a book. I kind of within just kind of some scattered notes per se.
Okay.
So I think I'm kind of setting the goal. I kind of I want to get it out there soon. So I kind of one of my goals is to possibly have it done by next year.
Oh, okay.
So
not very far.
Hey, so I'm putting the pressure on myself again.
There you go.
But again, you put pressure on yourself. It kind of pushes you a little bit, when you put something out there. But I did start like a book idea, to where I kind of had some different chapters and what I wanted to talk about. And the thing that excites me the most is I feel I'm a better writer now than I was probably a year and a half ago when I started the idea. So I'm really excited to kind of see how it will turn out. But definitely a book is something that's been on my heart. One of the things that I want to accomplish within my second year as a Christian blogger and motivator is to, before, my, second year anniversary hits, I want to have, my book out there. So it is in the works. And when it's coming soon,
okay,
I'll let you know.
We may have to do another episode whenever the book come out.
Hey, absolutely.
So that'll be an awesome idea. Some other things. So who are some people that inspire you that you listen to that are motivators or Christian bloggers or just people that put out Christian work and who influences Carlton, and things that you find that influence you.
There's a lot of people. I kind of want to start with, my own pastor at Mount Aaron Baptist Church, Pastor William Curtis.
Okay.
That's someone that kind of I watched him deliver sermons every Sunday when I go to church, and I kind of was like, wow, like I like his style, I like the way he presents the message, and he relates to our congregation rather. So that's one of my biggest influences. Dr. Jerry Carter is another one, another pastor, another person that delivers a good message and does it with passion. More popular, Stephen Furtick is another guy. Joyce Meyer. Oh yeah. So that's another person. So again, there's a lot of different pastors and preachers out there that kind of inspire me. I listen to them, I watch their videos, and sometimes it might even generate an idea within me. To say, maybe I should talk about this, or you know what, they gave me a different perspective on how to look at an overwhelming situation, because I might have said, oh, I'll look at an overwhelming situation this way. I may watch a video or hear them, and they may say, oh, this is another way to look at it. So I have a lot of their books. Joel Osteen is another person.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's another guy. One of the first people that I ran across before I really kind of pressed forward with motivational speaking, Christian blogging, was the late Zig Ziglar.
Oh, man. So, he's my favorite. He's one of my favorites.
So I watched some of his videos, and I'm like, man, he's awesome. I mean, there was a point to where he influenced me enough to where I made sure every night before I went to sleep, I watched one of his videos. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how serious I was, because again, I think motivational speaking and anything you do, it's all about honing your craft and finding ways to get better. So I think you learn from the best. So, even when I go to church on Sundays and listen to Pastor Curtis, I also want to get the message, but I also want to look at how he delivers the message, how he carries himself, how he says certain things, how he breaks it down, how he makes it relatable to the people in the church. So again, it's all about honing your craft and watching these individuals. So again, that's why I watched Zig so much, because I thought he was awesome in what he did. So it's just kind of studying and how did he say it and how did he get people to laugh or nod their head or anything along those lines. Same thing with, Stephen Furtick. He talks and preaches with a passion to where you feel it. Like, so if I'm feeling it through a cell phone or an iPad,
right,
I'm pretty sure the people that are there live are like,
oh,
wow,
yeah.
this is
right.
awesome.
The energy in the room is
the
probably
energy,
high.
yeah. So again, that's kind of, as I go into, motivational speaking, life coaching, doing seminars, webinars, whatever the case may be, I want people to know, like, wow, this, leaving that event, that phone call, or watching a DVD, to know, like, man, he's passionate
right
about Christ.
Absolutely.
And he's passionate about helping people, and he's passionate about what he's doing. So again, just watching those individuals. I mean, there's a lot of other people that are out there that I follow, but those are some that come to mind. Another guy is Tony Gaskins. I listened to one of his conference calls about life coaching, and I look at a lot of his messages and watch his videos too. Another guy that's very, very influential to me, and especially with trying to transition into life coaching, that's another guy that I have looked up to and also even communicated with, and very encouraging. So those are just a few of my influences.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of my favorites that you did say was probably Zig Ziglar. One of the quotes that he has that I pretty much live by is, you can get everything that you want if you help enough other people get what they want first.
Yeah.
And that's something that really hits home for me. It really hits my heart, because I'm definitely a person that believes in giving to other people, and I believe that if you treat people right, you do right by others, and you are a willing giver to other people to help them succeed and help them accomplish the things that they want to accomplish, that ultimately, no matter where you plant the seed, it's going to come back to you.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be able to reap the rewards from that. So I'm definitely huge in that. I mean, like I said, Zig Ziglar is one of my favorites. I actually want to get one of his books sometime too. But yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites. Any books that you've read recently or is there any books that are any of your favorites that you've read before?
There's a few. I've read a few of Pastor Curtis's books. I think when it's about the armor of God, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't probably have the right exact title.
Okay.
But I've read his most recent 2 books. There was one, I can't think of the woman's name. I think it's called Uninvited. I think it's Liza something. That's somebody that I just started reading that book probably a month or so ago. It's actually an interesting take, kind of with my woman empowerment thing. So it's a woman kind of speaking about her experiences and sharing her story, and kind of how she used Christ to overcome these different things. Another one that I read in college, probably my favorite book overall, Life Lessons by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross.
Okay.
Just different lessons in life. It was really, really interesting because I thought in college, I'm like, oh, I got to read this long book. And
How long is it?
It's not that long. I think it was probably like 200 pages maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like it's English, it's college. I'm like, man, like I don't wanna have to read this book. But I read the first chapter and I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was able to kind of read the rest of it, and I'm just like, wow, it taught me about, I need everything from holding grudges to love to relationships to just faith, confidence. So just different life lessons and kind of how those different things apply. So it was a pretty unique book. So those are just a few that I've read. Another one that I was starting to read too was from one of my colleagues, Callie Stores. I think it was God Set Me Up. So that's another book that I'm reading as well. So a lot of good material out there that I kind of find inspiration from. But those are just a few that kind of come to mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do look at when you post up on your Instagram and stuff like that is that I look forward to is your women empowerment on Wednesdays. Yeah. How do you go about selecting people for that whenever you do that?
It's kind of just people that are in my circle, or even people that I recognize that are doing great things. And when I reach out to these women, I kind of let them know the reason that I reached out to you is because I feel you're doing amazing work, and it just needs to be recognized, or just somebody that I feel like, man, if I could put this person out there just to give somebody an example to follow, because a lot of times people are like, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur, but maybe they don't know any entrepreneurs, or man, I would love to, write my own book or become a hairstylist or start a brand, whatever the case may be. But when you see a woman, and it also too, so far I've done more local women, so it's like, wow, within Pittsburgh, so it's not just somebody like a Oprah, where it's like, okay, this is a celebrity and very, very famous, but it's like, wow, it's somebody that probably lives right around the corner from me.
Right.
Exactly. And it's nothing like that within the city of Pittsburgh, to where it's like, wow, I didn't even know this person was even doing these different things. So it's just a matter of reaching out to them and just kind of being selective in women that I feel would be a good example for people to follow. So the women that I've chose, I think, are all awesome women in themselves, and from entrepreneurships to multiple degrees to wanting to be entrepreneurs, and just focused on being the best woman that they can be, and focused on making an impact in the world. And those are the type of women that I feel I want to put out there, not just to give them recognition, but at the same time for somebody else to say, wow, man, she wrote a book, she's an entrepreneur, she got a master's. You know what? I'm about to get on Google. I'm about to look up some bachelor programs,
right, exactly,
or some associate's program, just because they saw me post someone that has 2 degrees before the age of 25, my most recent Woman of the Week. Before she turned 25, 2 degrees, 2 brands, and a book.
Wow.
So
before 25. Yes. That's a big deal.
Insane.
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah.
And that's what I told her. I said that's impressive.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
That's impressive. So when people see that, somebody might be 23, 24, 25. I'm like, man, if she could do that within that time frame,
So can I.
So can I. And that's the biggest thing, is so can I.
Yeah.
If that person can do it, so can I.
That could be your first book. I don't know. We may be on to something.
Hey, we might be. Hey,
so can I.
Hey, I might have to write that down.
There you go. That could be start with one of your blogs and maybe transition that into a book. I like the sound of that.
Hey, that might be a series, man.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
No, that's cool. That's what's up. So whenever you're reaching out to these people, how do you discover them? Is this on like Facebook or Instagram, and then how do you reach out to them?
It's more so like a lot of people that I've chosen or selected have been people that I either have known for a little while, or I've known them in some kind of capacity. So it's just a matter. Sometimes you may go through Facebook, and I've seen women like, hey, I have my own traveling business. One of my other Women of the Week, I knew her, worked together with her, when she was starting her own hair company. So, and it's just kind of, as over time, I see like, wow, the hair company's growing, and there's people that are like, hey, I love her hair, I love her brand, and seeing her post new logos. So it's just like, oh wow. So you can kind of track their progress maybe through Facebook or through their testimonies. So most of the women so far I've known them a little bit. So just really kind of reaching out to them and kind of letting them know, hey, this is what I do. Hey, I would like to feature you as my next Woman of the Week. Just kind of want to mention a few things about you, things of that nature. And a lot of the women, if not all of them, honestly, have really been receptive to like, wow, like, I'm glad someone wants to do a feature on me. And again, like I always tell them, you deserve it. I mean, the work that you're putting in deserves to be recognized. I mean, there's no reason why a woman, like I mentioned, with 2 degrees, 2 brands, in a book before 25 should not be
right. Somebody like that should be. I mean, we can maybe put her on the show here.
Hey, definitely,
Maybe even connect with her.
Definitely, yeah. So that's people like that need to be recognized, because again, like I said, that can inspire another young woman, even in high school. Like, oh, I'm about to go to college. I'm 18 years old. I want to be like her, or I want to go down a similar path, or even set up opportunities to be able to say, who is this person? What does she do? What is her brand, right? And be able to reach out and connect with these people. So it's just all about, like you said, giving people a platform to be on. That way they can reach out and help more people, and more people can look up to this person as a resource and as some form of inspiration, versus saying like, man, I don't know anybody personally that started their own business or that got a master's. But then they look up and say, wow, you know what? I just saw this girl on the Woman of the Week just kind of scrolling through my Instagram. Man, you know, she got her own business and a master's. So it's just like finding people that kind of represent, you know, God-fearing women that are about their business and that are about making an impact. I think those are the women that need to be seen, and a lot of people can learn from them.
That's awesome. So how did you come up with the Carlton Speaks brand? How did you come up with that name whenever you were initially starting it?
You know, just kind of wanted to keep it unique to me, and I wanted it to kind of be, you know, my brand. So I'm thinking like, what can I do? And, you know, I kept my name in it, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of my biggest goals was to become a motivational speaker and to speak, you know, across the world. So it just kind of was like Carlton Speaks. It kind of just ran. It kind of sounded, it flowed together.
Yeah, I like it.
Honestly, yeah. And it kind of, so when I put it out there, I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And again, I just felt it was something that was unique to me. Don't see any other Carlton Speaks brands out there, which is good so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought it was just unique to me, and I think it's just something that, you know, can, you know, when you hear that, it's linked to me, and it's also primarily, you know, linked to Christ.
Right.
And that's what, you know, I want Carlton Speaks to be about. It's a brand, but it's a brand that's been founded in Christ, or that the foundation of it stands within Christ.
Absolutely. That's the message behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. There's nothing that Carlton Speaks does that does not involve God, that does not involve Jesus Christ. You know, and people that know my brand know he's a God-fearing man. Everybody that reads my blogs know, okay, this guy, he's going to talk about God, he's going to talk about Christ. And that's just what I want to be known for, is someone that's delivering God's word through an Instagram post, a video, a blog, a book, even through, you know, again, motivational speaking, even through life coaching. One of the things that I want my life coaching brand to be focused on is Christian life coaching. So tying in, how can I help someone reach a personal or a professional goal by having a relationship or a stronger relationship with Christ? And I think those things can be correlated, in all honesty, because I think a lot of times to reach hypothetically a fitness goal, knowing I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, you know, knowing that anything that I ask God for, he'll deliver it. So if I need, you know, the resources, or if I need the energy to go to the gym, or if I need the resources to be able to buy, you know, different things that'll help me lose weight or gain weight, or whatever the case, whatever you need, God can provide it. And just knowing that can help anybody reach a goal, whether it's trying to get a promotion, whether it's trying to get a degree, anything of that nature. So that's kind of what I want my life coaching brand to be about. And the same thing with motivational speaking. Never going to see me talk, never going to see me speak without mentioning God.
That's
giving
awesome.
Glory to him. So
that's awesome. So one of the things that you also talked about before the show was even starting up your YouTube show, or not YouTube show, YouTube channel, putting up videos and things like that, or even putting up some things on your Instagram, just getting more into videos and things like that. Talk about that some more. What are some things, or how would you go about maybe even building up your YouTube channel and things like that?
Just putting good content out there, delivering a message. I've done some videos so far, you know, like 30 seconds to a minute, just kind of on a particular topic. So I think, you know, if I were to, and that's something that a lot of people have been kind of tapping me on the shoulder about, you know, starting a YouTube channel and things of that nature. So I think within that, I would probably, you know, do some 30-second to a minute videos on, you know, how, you know, to overcome overwhelm, or how to remain faithful in a chaotic situation, just finding a different topic and speaking on it. You know, I've also thought about, you know, possibly even having something along these lines where, you know, where I'm talking to, you know, a pastor or someone that's within a Christian leadership role or anything of that nature, or even someone that's aspiring to explore or go into Christian, you know, leadership.
Right.
or just even one thing that's been on my heart is having a Q&A. I would love to kind
Oh
of
yeah.
have
These days these are kind of huge.
exactly.
It's easy to do too.
Yeah. So kind of having a Q&A, kind of having people give me topics that they want me to talk about, because again, it makes it unique to that individual, to where it's like, man, I'm going through a rough season. I'm very, very overwhelmed. So really just taking 15 minutes on a video or anything along those lines, it's a topic devoted directly to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those are some different things that have been on my heart. So as I go into launching a YouTube channel, those are some things that I kind of would include, and probably have some other ideas come along the way. But those are different things that I kind of would include initially.
Right. So so going into the future, I know. So you got the book that you're working on, and then you want to do the motivational speaking, and you got the opportunity coming up in October, which is awesome. What are some other things that you want to do or build upon as you're moving in the direction of doing motivational speaking, doing seminars? How would you want to go about that? Would you want to go on tour? Would you want to do more web-based type stuff? Would you even want to maybe come out with an app or something? I don't know. How would you want to take the motivational speaking to the next level?
I think all the things that you mentioned. I would love to have an app to where everybody can go to it and have a quote for the day.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Or have a quote in scripture for the day, something like that. I mean, everybody needs that. I mean, that's something that I even have on my phone with the Bible app. At a certain time of the day, sends me a scripture.
Same.
Where I read it. Kind of gets me started on my day. So something along those lines. I would love to tour and go all over. One of the things with my Facebook group, Carlton Speaks, it's very, very international.
Okay.
It started, I want to say probably like June, July. Had like 400 something followers, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Now from July until now, I'm actually over 3,000.
That's good. That's what's up. And you say this is a group page or a fan page?
Fan page on Facebook.
So people can find you on there.
Yeah. So if people go to Facebook and not Google, but search Carlton Speaks, that group will probably pop up.
Okay.
So again, just going from 400 followers to over 3,000 within a month and a half.
So that's a big thing that people want to know about. How did you get it to grow to that point? What would you say were the things that factored into it growing to that point?
Really just getting the message out there to as many people as possible. And what I was able to do was find a way to do that to where now my message, the majority of my Facebook group or fan page is international. So it's people from Kenya, Nigeria, Cameroon, Belize.
Now, were you able to get those through like sponsorship posts, or like how were you getting
just boosting my post?
Okay, so you boosted up your post. Okay.
Yeah, so just boosting my post and just kind of you can narrow it down your demographic, to who you want to get your word to. So instead of just saying, "Oh, I just want to get it throughout people in the U.S.," it was like, let me get it out to any and everybody everybody.
Right.
I want everybody. I want Carlton Speaks to be a global brand,
right?
Because I think the word can be used everywhere. It's just not in the U.S., but it's just like seeing, including the U.S., like my blogs have been read and my site has been viewed in 32 countries, including the U.S.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So again, it's just trying to get the message out there to as many people as possible, and that's what helped my fan base or fan page rather grow. Just because it's like putting the word out there to as many people as possible, and that's kind of what helped it grow. And it's humbling to see that. Honestly, starting out, never would have thought.
Yeah.
Never would have thought. I mean, I tell a lot of people like, how's it going? And I'm just like, I never would have thought it would have been like this, to an extent where I wake up in the morning, getting ready for work, and I just see you have a viewer from Kenya, you have a viewer from Nigeria.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Cameroon, testimonials. I had a guy message me in my group and was like, "Hey man, I'm viewing your work from South Africa." So I'm like,
yeah.
So to me, it's
and you never even been to South Africa, have you?
Exactly, never been there.
That the power of social media.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you mention touring, like I would love to go to South Africa,
right?
and deliver the message, or Cameroon, Kenya. So touring wherever throughout the U.S., I would love to go overseas. I mean, that would be an amazing accomplishment. I would love to do, webinars or have, a small conference or a small event to where, I'm speaking to a group of young individuals or business professionals. So whoever can benefit from the message, well, I think, in all honesty, could be anybody, whether it's a business professional or if it's just a young, teenager that's about to transition from high school to college, or somebody that's looking to, or that's transferring or transitioning from college to the real world, even older adults, you know what I mean? Different things of that nature. So, I mean, those are just some different things that I want to kind of do. I mean, as long as like an app and traveling and wherever God places me, that's where I want to be. So,
well, another thing that he has placed you is being nominated in the Best of Pittsburgh. So how did you get nominated for that? Tell us, because we were talking about this beforehand. So you put in a lot of work to be able to be nominated for that. So tell the people, the viewers, how did you get to that point, and can people still vote for that?
Before I go into that, I want to thank anybody that nominated or voted for me. It means a lot. The support, I think that was one of the biggest things that stood out from this experience. But it started out just kind of finding out about it. It's like, hey, you can get nominated as, there's different categories. So it was like, you can get nominated as the best local blogger. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I just kind of put it out there, hey, go nominate me. So I'm like, all right, cool, prayed on it. Like, all right, hopefully I get enough nominations to receive votes.
Yeah, you actually texted me and was like, hey, I'm doing this. Yeah. I'm trying to get nominated for the Best of Pittsburgh for Best Blogger and things like that. And I saw that. I was like, I'm on it. I got you, bro.
Appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate it, man. And it's like I'm reaching out to anybody that I know. Right. Like, hey, nominate me. I need to be nominated because in order to get the votes for the actual, I guess, award or whatever you want to refer to it as, is I have to be nominated to be on the ballot, the voting ballot. So it was just kind of putting it out there through social media, reaching out to people like yourself, just anybody that I could reach out to, friends, family, things of that nature. Hey, I'm looking to be nominated, to be in the category of best local blogger. So I put it out there, and then afterwards, I kind of checked it. I checked the voting ballot the next day, see my name on there. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
So and I knew that's when I had to turn it up some more. And I didn't want people to get confused with nominating and voting, because I didn't want people to just say, oh, we already nominated you.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I'm nominated. Now I'm on the voting ballot.
Yeah.
So
now it's the real deal.
Now it's the real deal. So that's when I just really focused on, all right, I need to get this out there more. So I got a lot of support. So I, again, use social media like we talked about earlier, some sponsorships. I even went to different places. They were willing to hang up, my signs in their establishments. So everything from, libraries to restaurants to, just different things of that nature. There's a lot of people.
You were going all out, putting in the work.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta put in the work. You get what you put into it. So to me, just to show to God how bad I wanted this victory. You know what I mean? I realized I had to really put myself out there. I really had to put in the work. So I mean, Point Park, allowed me to put up signs. Just a lot of different places were very, very receptive and very, very supportive. I prayed about it and just really worked at it, and it was just humbling to see people screenshot me and say, hey, I voted for you. A lot of people even retweeted, go vote for Carlton Speaks and Best Local Blogger. People put it on Instagram, people, reposted it on Facebook. So it was just a lot of support that I got. And again, it was a humbling but very, very fun experience. I will find out, I guess, sometime in October if, I won the award, but I've been praying over it. One of the reasons that I wanted to get this award is not just for me to be the best local blogger, but really I wanted this victory for Christ. Just in the world we live in, me personally, I don't think God gets talked about enough.
Right.
And that's my personal opinion. I just don't think there's enough people talking about God when God is great and He's relevant. But I don't see a lot of people talking about this amazing God that we serve. So for me, I took it personal, and I'm like, I want this victory for God, because I looked at the other people that were that were in the competition with me per se, and it wasn't a Christian-based blog.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I stand out.
Yeah.
And, so again, I pushed it, I worked hard at it. I put it on my social media platforms. I reach out to people personally. And a lot of people voted for me. My aunt, Sharon, she messaged me.
Shout out to Aunt Sharon.
Aunt Sharon, I love you. But yeah, shout out to her and my Aunt Deb too. They were voting daily because a part of the, the requirements were you can vote in one category once a day. So those are two people that told me that, hey, I voted more than once. So shout out to them again.
Yeah.
And it's just to have that type of support, especially from family, is everything, man. So.
That's awesome. So, just in wrapping up, so what would be like the message that you want people to come across whenever they, either hit your website or find out or discover you on Instagram or Facebook? What's the message that you want people to take away when they initially meet you or come in contact with your content?
The message is just really anything that you want to do, you can do it. And anything you're going through, you can overcome it. There's a test before every testimony.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people get discouraged when they're going through the test. But at the end of the day, that's what produces a test. That's why it's called a testimony, right? So again, it's just whatever you're going through, you're going to make it. God can get you through it. Whatever you want to do, God can help you do it. So just involving God in everything you do, whether it's something that you're trying to do, something that you're trying to overcome, something that's bothering you, go to God with it, and just remain faithful throughout the process. My blog that I'm publishing tomorrow talks about embracing the process to your promise. God has promised us a lot of different things. Anything that we ask for, He can bless us with, right? But sometimes we get discouraged because we're going through a difficult process.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we're going through a process of, I'm battling cancer, right? The promise on the other end of it is you're going to make it. You're going to beat it. But the tough part is right in the middle. But not only is it the tough part, but that's the part that you learn the most.
Right.
So one of the things that I referenced in the blog was just imagine if you got a college degree, but you didn't attend a class or you didn't write a paper. Like, how much would that degree mean to you? How much value would it have?
Right.
If you never did the work to get it. If you just fill out an application for Loyola College or Duquesne University and they just say, hey, where's your degree? Show up December 29th at 8 o'clock and get that degree. What value does it have? You didn't learn any information. You can go present it at a job, but what's the knowledge? You didn't gain anything from it.
Right.
So that's where we really need to focus. That's the part that we need to appreciate the most is the process. So it was the same thing when I tore my patella tendon. Granted, I knew I was going to recover, but in the middle
is where you grew the most.
Is where I grew the most. Having 6 weeks of bed rest, you can't do much.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I joke with people, there's not enough sports center and movies in the world. So again, it drew me to, I need to, I'm reading my Bible. I'm watching motivational videos. Thinking about how I can grow, closer to Christ and closer to God. So again, that's where we really need to focus is, hey, we're all going through adversity. We're all going through a process, but God promised us something better on the other end. So my message is, whatever you're going through, keep going. God's gonna get you through it.
Awesome. And then, so where's the best place people can find you? Like, what's your website address, or where's the best place people can contact you?
I guess to me, social media is big.
Okay.
So social media, I have my Facebook fan page or group. You can search Carlton Speaks. Instagram _ Carlton Speaks, Twitter at Carlton Speaks. So again, it's just all uniform. So if you kind of search me on any of those platforms with Carlton Speaks, it should pop up. Hashtag as well. My website is carltonspeaks.com. So that's another place. That's where you can read, my blogs, see previous, Women of the Week. I'm going to get my 7-day plan on there as well, things of that nature. So I'm going to add some things to the site as well. So through my website, through social media platforms, are the best, places to find me. So
Awesome. Hey, man, well, I definitely appreciate you being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. It was a great opportunity to sit down with you and everything. So now that we got a chance to find out what Carlton does with his 24 hours, what do you do with your 24 hours?